Okay. Also, just check the presentation. The size is gonna help you to, when you design your input text boxes, you can specify 40, 60, whatever you want, okay, depending of the data that you need. Okay, remember, placeholder is much better, correct? The max length is a property that allows you to allow the user to enter only a specific maximum number of characters. Okay, the label that I told you before, we're gonna use just we're gonna use this kind of button, but the submit button, we can use the reset. We can use reset to reset all the data that we are typing. We're gonna do that at the end. We can use a submit button. In this in ISN32 tutorial, I don't want to teach you that, but it's when you want to send information to the server. All the information that you are collecting in your form can be sent from the client, your PC that is using the application. You can collect all the information in your form and send that to the server, and then the server can receive that and, you know, update the data in tables in databases, or perform some operation based on the data that you are receiving, you know, search by ID, something like that. But we are not going to use that in this class. ISN4243, yes, we're going to use that. Okay, so let's gonna do this program, simple program. Enter a number, you enter a number here and calculate the square, correct? So let's gonna create a new file, a new HTML. 1 second, let me close those windows. Okay, HTML file. Remember, HTML have the head, we have here the title, right? Title. Our program is going to be called compute square. Body, right? We're gonna have a form. Okay, inside the form we're gonna have a label. Now enter a number. Right. In the same line, we wanna receive the data in an input text box, right? Use an ID. You know that you need that, right? When you code, you need an ID to get the data. So txt number, for example, placeholder, enter a number. Right, close that, and then in the next line, so you can use break line there. Button value compute square. Remember, how can we associate the button with the code? Depending of the event, right? There are many events, but I want to teach you just one event, that is onclick, right? Okay, so now how can we associate that? Remember, onclick, and you have to type there the method function that you're going to execute when the user click on the button. Okay, on this button. So what we're gonna associate that is compute square. Okay, and close the input. Okay, so let's gonna code now the function, right? Remember the tag that we have to use when we're gonna code script, and create the function here. Function compute square, right? Okay, so now let's gonna add the function here. Okay, what do we need to compute the square? Where is my bracket? It's here, right? Okay, let's gonna save the file. We didn't save that right yet, so save in my documents, HTML, for example, square, HTML files .html. Save. In my case, this file already exists. No problem. Okay, and click here in the preview. We have enter a number, right? Compute a square, correct? Compute a square. Okay, what do we need to compute the square? The number, right? The number that we are typing here. Okay, so let's gonna get this number in the variable n1, for example. Equal what? Remember, document that getElementbyId. And remember, what ID? Text number, right? TXT number. Okay, but we need a value, right? Until now we're positioning now in this TXT box, right? In this input text box, right? But if you wanna get that value that is there, you need to use the property value. Okay, now you have in the variable n1 the data. How can we know that we are getting the correct data? Console.log, correct? And display n1. Save that, and I want, nothing happened. Okay, where is the console? Remember, Control Shift I, right? See, 12. We're getting the 12. Okay, from which line? Line 19. Okay, the 19 we're displaying that, correct? Okay, so we know that everything is correct. Now that you have the number, what is your job? What do we have to do? That we have to do it compute the square, right? Okay, let's gonna create a new variable. Square equal what? How can you compute the square of 12? 12 times 12. The square of 3. 3 times 3. So it's the number times the number, right? So in which variable I have the number? Remember, n1. So n1 times what? n1, right? Okay, console.log square. It's gonna see 3. The number is 3 and the square is 9. Perfect. Okay, so now it's gonna display that in the Windows alert. This forgot the double quotation mark. The square of who? the square of n1, right? In n1 we have the number, right? Is square, right? Just gonna see if that works. 4. The square of 4 is 16. Perfect. Perfect. Our program is working. Now, what happens if we wanna, instead of to use the Windows alert, we wanna display the result in an input text box here? Okay. So let's gonna add the input text box. The input text box have to be here, right? Input type text. You can type, for example, placeholder result will be displayed here, correct? And remember, assign an ID, right? We're gonna need that, right? ID equal what? Txt result, for example. Okay. Result will be displayed here. So your job now is gonna be compute the square when you click here and display the square here instead of to display the Windows alert. Okay. Now where do we have to display the result, the square? Here, right? Okay. What is the ID for this text box? The ID for this text box is txt result. Okay. So your job now is gonna be use document that getElementbyId, which ID? Txt result, correct? That value, correct? Assign the value for this element. Okay, which value we have to assign? The square, right? Square. So now we're gonna do the opposite. Before we get the value, right, and assign the value to the variable. Now we're gonna assign to the value, because the value now is 0, nothing. We're gonna assign a specific value, whatever we have in the variable square. In the variable square, we have the square of the number. So we're gonna assign the result to that. Save that, and let's gonna see what happened. Beautiful. Okay. So, okay, you know how to display now the alert with the result, and now you know how to place the result in another text input text box. Okay, you know how to use the console to verify that everything is okay. So I hope this video